What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 with our Iron Man playthrough. I do want to go ahead and say that our campaign is going very, very well. Now, it looks like the only other countries that are left inside this campaign is, of course, the United Kingdom, the Dominion of Canada, South Africa, and I believe Norway and the United States. Looks like Greece is going to fall in time, or better yet, they already fell. And I guess the Allies, Belgium, and supposedly Greece, they are all doing everything in their power to basically try to relieve all of the pressure inside Central Europe here. So basically where we stand, our invasion of both Canada and the US is going very, very well. I do have 20 divisions of light tanks and basically Marines that I really want to go ahead and land on San Diego. But I think what I'm going to have to do is re-maneuver this naval invasion, assuming that I can. That's not what I wanted to see. You should be able to re-maneuver, but if not, I guess, I don't necessarily want to wait another 70 days. But other than that, I'll figure that out in just a moment, looking at our production, or better yet, looking at our logistics. As you can see, we have a surplus of artillery, we are lacking motorized artillery, we are lacking a ton of infantry equipment, and it looks like every day that goes by, we're going to be losing a lot of motorized as well. As for our light tanks, it looks like we are losing more light tanks than we are actually producing. So I'm starting to wonder, I don't really need that many carrier bombers anymore. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to remove some of the burden of these carrier bombers, because not only are they expensive, but they are a little unnecessary. So let's only produce around 7. I have a lot of carrier fighters, so I think we are only going to be using around 5. We now have maximum military factories. I do want to secure myself around 15 or 18 more. We have way too many naval bombers, but I do absolutely want to keep, a high production. So I think we'll keep around 8, and we obviously don't need this many fighters anymore. So let's go ahead and bring this down. Well, you know what? Fighters are the only thing that I probably should keep in abundance. Let's bring down naval bombers a little bit more, and we are looking for 6 more infantry equipment slots. And it looks like we're lacking steel, so I'm wondering, maybe only producing 1 more light cruiser, that'll save us around, I'm guessing, about 30 steel. How much is this? Wow, 3 times 15, 45 steel. That'll bring us down to about negative 35, so this will be the only motorized artillery that is not being produced. We are obviously finishing our last carrier. All of our steel needs will be over soon enough. And obviously, I think we should probably keep 1 light cruiser indefinitely. Nationalist Spain has joined the Axis, which of course was the entire goal. So other than that, I suppose we are going to continue our push. But I am very, very nervous here. We have around 72 divisions of motorized that are going to be taking attrition. So our number 1 priority is building up our infrastructure. And it looks like we have maximum infrastructure level 10 inside Alaska. And obviously making our way inside northwestern Canada. You know, the only thing that I really am upset about... Ooh, now we have the Taiho class. But I don't think we're going to be building it anytime soon. Now, my only real issue is obviously we're building up a lot of infrastructure in Canada, which is going to help us a lot. But you know what? I am spending a lot of, resources improving other people's land that I might not even actually obtain once the war ends. What I would like to do would be to continually build up civilian factories, but I need to be nervous. I'm a little nervous because once I build up in Japan... You know, the German Reich might claim some territory. I don't want that to happen. The fall of Gibraltar, and we also have the ability to modify our government for the final time. I have absolutely no idea what to unlock, so I guess what I will do is get Fascist Demagogue, which was absolutely useless. I probably should have gotten better manpower, but it is what it is. And I believe from now on, I don't think I will ever be producing any type of infantry unit. I get that this will probably be my last units of cavalry divisions, at least military police. But because if I ever do end up going to war with the German Reich, I am going to need a lot of tanks. And obviously, once we have a surplus of infantry equipment, we will probably switch on over to heavy tanks. But then again, those cost a lot of steel. And, you know, they are going to take a long time to build. Well, maybe we will get some steel from the United States. We have a research slot available, and I guess we should probably start building up our heavy tanks now. We can make our way all the way to 1943. Heck, we could even get modern tanks. It's going to take the same amount of time no matter where we go. Let's get heavy tanks first. And then I guess we're going to be pumping out as many modern tanks as we can. Hopefully we can improve those modern tanks to the best of our ability. I wish we could unlock different levels of tanks at one time, but obviously that is not the case. Okay, everybody seems to be doing well, except in these mountainous territories. Obviously, moving on into the forest and moving on into the mountains through a river is going to probably be one of the hardest parts. Let's make a balanced manner rather than an aggressive battle plan. Now, the idea is to build up some organization, build up supply. These units are moving their way across Canada. And, of course, you know what? Do we have a level 10 naval base? Yeah, no. Let's build one. We are definitely going to be getting Alaska. You know, we're going to be taking Alaska in the peace negotiations. That is going to be one of my biggest priorities. Not only because it's so wide, but you have so much access to basically secure against the German Reich. There is a lot of, you know, naval presences that we could build up. Naval bases, radar stations, and even air bases. So that is going to be my number one priority. So I think I will go ahead and build a naval base maxed out inside Alaska rather than in Vancouver or something along these areas. Actually, I think Vancouver hasn't even been taken. What type of naval base is this? Level 5, not a level 10, but could be better. We have free military factories, but 0 steel. Obviously, all of our infantry equipment is being produced. We don't really need any more carriers. Still don't need these light cruisers. They are still being worked on, though. And yes, so now, let's actually trade this again. Wait until these light cruisers are finished. I don't think I'm going to be building any more naval units, at least for the time being. The United Kingdom announces the Balkan Diplomatic Initiative. They should stick to their own little sphere of influence. Now, basically, I have the free military factories. I don't know what to do with them. Obviously, I could build up a better presence with our fighters, and I think that's actually going to be my best bet. I still got a few more military factories. I have no idea what to spend on, but because I lack steel, I need aluminum. I think we're going to be, I have aluminum. Let's finally build some better fighters. But all of these fighters will be switched up eventually. I just have the factories. I might as well put them to good use. And it looks like we are building up a few more military factories, and then eventually we are going to be building up our industry. And, yep, everything is going well. Free dockyards, not going to be spending any of these dockyards because they do require a lot of steel to obviously be producing some units. How are all of my motorized units coming along? It says it's going to take 5 hours until we arrive, and then it is going to take 12 days until we arrive inside the northern Canadian provinces. Can I be constructing any additional infrastructure? Not yet. Looks like we have some new planes. I wonder what type of plane that was. Mitsubishi G4M. This was a tactical bomber. My number one priority is once we get the jet engines, I do obviously want to unlock jet planes. So we can't do it until we unlock the Yokosuka tactical bomber. But obviously we do have a lot of tungsten, and building some, fighter aircraft, or better yet, some jet aircraft, would basically give us absolute dominance over anyone and everything. But like I said, my highest priority is probably going to be modern tanks, because we are going to have to just roll through the German Reich, and it is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I could even, because we are going to be building up an absolute, I don't want to say the word, but we are going to be building a heck of a lot of tanks. Maybe even moving to mobile warfare might not be such a bad idea. But obviously, it is going to take a lot of time. We obviously have to deal with some other issues. It's not 1945. We could get better maintenance companies, which would give us better reliability. But part of me wants to switch over my land doctrines earlier. But man, this is going to take literally a year, a very, very long time. Well, what are we going to lose? See, these are all essentially infantry divisions and not really motorized mechanized. And I'm not using infantry. Alright, I'm going to have to do this. Let's go. It says it's going to instantly unlock mobile warfare, but all of our grand battle plan is going to go away, which is very sad. Mobile warfare has been unlocked. Now we will go for delay. So the idea, though, is to unlock basically blitzkrieg technology. And you know what? With the German Reich and the USSR combined, I have really no idea if I can beat them. So obviously the idea is to build up our tanks quickly, and then once I deal with the United States, I'm going to have the German Reich try to deal with the United Kingdom on their own. I'm not going to help if I don't need to. It looks like we are winning battle after battle, and it looks like unread naval battles, victories across the board, and we have sunk 2 heavy cruisers. We are doing very, very well. There is absolutely no idea that no way that they're even going to be able to take Hawaii. I could once again build up some better radar, but I don't think it's really even necessary. I guess we're going to be building up some radar inside Australia. We don't need it at all, so you know what, I'm not even going to worry about it. But we do need infrastructure, and we can't really build any inside Canada at all. We have to try our best to keep improving. Type 95 heavy tank, 10% improvement. You would think it would be better. 155 days. Now the goal is of course to get our modern tank in 1945, but that is obviously not going to happen. We probably will get it in early 1946, and hopefully during that time everybody will continue to keep pushing. Looking at all 72 of you, have we stopped pushing? It looks like we have, but we obviously have some preparations while we continue to gain some momentum. Let's actually try to push. I have no idea if this will work, and let's do an aggressive battle stance once again. It looks like we are winning in all of these fights. We have free military factories, we have run out of aluminum, but now we have steel. It's gonna take a year for that light cruiser, these carriers, Let's start building up some tanks. Some heavy tanks we could obviously put together. You know, I need modern tanks, not even heavy tanks. So let's actually dismantle these. And we do lack some light tanks. Let's build a light tank 3. Let's build a light tank 3. Now, obviously, this is going to take a lot of steel, a lot of oil, and a lot of rubber. I have a surplus of rubber, a surplus of oil, not a lot of steel, though. Okay, what can I unlock? Not going to worry about the Navy. Better artillery would be useful. We're obviously working on our heavy tanks. Obviously going to need some better maintenance companies. Man, I wish we could just take these provinces already. If we could control more of British Columbia, we would obviously be doing very, very well. Why do we not have Vancouver yet? Says it's going to take another 2 or 3 days, but we are pushing, and now that we have better breakthrough, all we need is Vancouver, and then we can get a better naval port, which means more supplies. There we have it. We are doing very, very well. Can we build better infrastructure? Yes, we can. That'll need to go to the very top of the list. So the idea is to basically get all of our supplies through Alaska and then ship them down the coast rather than getting a level 10 naval base inside Vancouver. Okay, everybody is still pushing. Everybody is doing a phenomenal job. Looks like we're actually almost where we need to be. Can we construct additional infrastructure? Not yet. I would like to build some level 10 infrastructure inside northern Canada. Okay, unread naval battles. Nothing I can do about that. My biggest priority, though, is, like, obviously we are sinking anything and everything. We have some, you know, very massive bases here. It might be a good idea to try to take some smaller islands and then obviously go ahead and build some radar dishes. Like, especially if we had this very small island here at the southern end, we could probably get radar all the way across. But then again, one of our issues is we aren't really patrolling those waters. Looking at our strategic naval map mode, yeah, we aren't patrolling the Southwest Indian Ocean or the Southeast Indian Ocean. And it looks like we have neglected Japan altogether. But you know what? I don't think we're really going to worry about it. And supposedly it shows our allies' strategic navy. Part of me wants to invade Washington, but I don't really want to poke the bear just yet. How much infantry equipment? We are still lacking infantry equipment. You would think it would be a lot better. Looking at our efficiency, it's still actually not at peak efficiency. We haven't really lost any units. All of these troops are exercising. They don't need to be. All of these troops are exercising. They don't need to be. All 48 of you are garrison troops. We could stop your exercising. And we are almost out of manpower, so I'm wondering, what is the best thing to do? Obviously, switching over to mechanized would be very, very useful, but I lack steel. And this is going to be a little dangerous here because I really need manpower, and I don't know the best way to go about that. I can obviously halt my construction repair. Let's cancel this. I'm making 1.12 a day, so we're probably gonna run out of manpower before I have the ability to change my conscription law to, I believe, all adults serve. Nope, service by requirement. Basically, we are gonna lose factory output and dockyard output. I have no idea how well this will work. Obviously, we are pushing into the US, which is really good news. Looking at our infrastructure, we can now build all of these up. And if I could get better infrastructure inside northern Canada, we would obviously be able to not only ship supplies, but I think we can move faster. I'm not really too sure about that. I am going to need to verify. We are once again at another crossroads, or better yet, we are at a river. Maybe the rest of us can continue pushing. We are running out of manpower as well, like I said. No national folk. I wonder, is there anything that gives me manpower? Probably not, because that would be broken. Less resistance, which probably means more... No, less resistance growth. Not exactly what I was looking for. Part of me wants this campaign to just end, but part of me wants to be the world's strongest power. And actually, in order to do that, I might even need to start researching nuclear bombs. I usually don't research nuclear bombs because I think they're a waste. But, you know, if I get nuclear bombs, then basically I can eliminate entire islands, and I could just land there. So imagine if I nuked down, you know, some type of landing area, and then such as, I don't know, let's say I nuked down this province right here, Hanover. Even though it's only a level 1 base, I could easily land all of my troops, push them on through, and then try to rebuild infrastructure as quickly as I can. I'm not sure how fast it rebuilds, or if it's able to be rebuilt automatically. But I guess we will have to obviously try our best. There is still a division here that needs to be dealt with. Jet engines have been unlocked. I suppose let's start the atomic research 410 days. We are not going to be getting it anytime soon, that is for certain. Why is this guy having such a hard time being killed? Says it's going to last another 7 days. I certainly hope not. Taking a look at our infrastructure, we can now build level 10 infrastructure in Washington. And the idea is obviously pushing down as much supplies as possible. Now, I don't think that the United States and the Dominion of Canada are going to be able to fight off all of these motorized divisions. But, nevertheless, we are going to be continuing to build supplies. We are still losing more infantry equipment than we can make. And we're still not at peak efficiency, which is obviously not good. Now, with the steel I have, I could obviously get more infantry equipment. You know, I have 4 lines of infantry equipment. I don't know what we're going to be necessarily doing. Delay has been unlocked, giving all of my infantry, motorized, and mechanized more organization. Now let's give all of our tanks and armor variants more movement speed, and of course give them a little bit more reinforcement rate. Okay, research slot is actually not available. because I just used it. Can I begin my naval invasion of San Diego? We are going to try. It says there are no units assigned to this order. Well, that is a shame. And we are going to be moving in with very little organization because I guess the naval base wasn't as strong as it could have been. If this fails, actually, let's build a naval base now, all the way up to level 7. If it fails, we obviously will have the extra, I don't know, 3 weeks or so building a naval base. If it doesn't fail, then obviously we did waste our construction of naval bases. But, you know, it is what it is. I have a feeling that because we're going in with very limited organization and we're obviously trying to take a major city, not as big as Los Angeles, but San Diego, I can pretty much guarantee you. Wow, level 5 anti-air, level 10 airbase. I have no idea if we're going to be able to land in time. And from what I understand, the farther they go, I thought they would lose organization. But I really don't know. Obviously, you don't want to do a naval invasion across the Pacific, so you want to do smaller staging points. Looks like the U.S. has finally come to the aid of Canada. We still have a surplus of manpower, but we are going to be basically hitting our limit very soon. We are now trying to land on San Diego, but I don't think it's going to happen. We need to land somewhere with no units, and then obviously try to take a city or port. Now, even though we have 20 units, I don't think this is going to work. Do they have any actual coastal forts? They have a level 1 coastal fort, and we already destroyed it. I don't know, I guess we will find out. If they take the port, I would be very happy, but if not going to worry about it. We are sinking a lot of Canadian ships. Can we build better infrastructure again? Yes, we can. Pushing that to the very top. As long as things get constructed and improved, I'm not really all that worried. Obviously, Vancouver Island doesn't necessarily need to be improved, but it is what it is, I suppose. San Diego, yep, all of my units have been removed. So let us actually delete this naval invasion order, create a new naval invasion by selecting all of our units. Let's do a naval invasion. We are going to try to take over the area next to both Los Angeles and San Diego. Activate when you're ready, but I think actually don't activate when you're ready because I need to obviously respond to the different situations as they arise. Did I just delete that naval invasion? I better not have. I think I did. Alright, you are going to have to go here and here, and then obviously let the 70 days commence. Cancel. I think I pressed OK last time, I'm not too sure. Okay, no national focus. Obviously, we need to get more manpower, so it is what it is. Looking at our... We are still lacking a lot of infantry equipment, though we're obviously producing more. Can we build more infantry equipment? Yes, we can. But I think what I'm going to do is build the tanks first, and then the infantry equipment. I, of course, am lacking light tanks. I'm going to need some of those. I would like to save some steel. And rather than building an infinite amount of carriers, let's only build one. And then we will obviously save steel as time goes on. Now, obviously, once I have a surplus of weapons, I think I can stop producing as many of those. Looks like we're still obviously replacing our fighters to the best of our ability. And still pushing through Canada. Are we still aggressively pushing? It looks like we're losing in a lot of areas, but why are we still pushing? We don't need to. And we actually could put in some planes now. Do we have any... We have a lot of Fighter 2s. Let's throw in about 1,000. I have nothing better to do except put all of these in. And your goal is to go after the western coast. Wow, this is a pretty big area. And let's select our fighters. Let's air superiority. And basically, we're not going to have negative issues anymore, or at least I hope not. Now that we have planes all over, well, we have 1 out of 1,000. Obviously, we have to wait until they get deployed. They are deploying from Nakajima, which I don't know where that is. But other than that, it is what it is. 72 units. They are going to be lacking some infantry very, very soon. Let's take one of you, take these 2 areas. And then all of our planes can basically head from Seattle all the way down. Now, it would be nice if we had tactical bombers, but we really don't have any. All we have are naval bombers, but don't get me wrong, they are useful. They obviously secured the entire Pacific, though they aren't really as necessary anymore. Looks like we have a massive surplus of fighters, but they are obviously upgrading what they can. Have they arrived? 1,000 planes. Now, every time we look at all of our attacking, or better yet, all of our advancements, you can see that the enemy has basically a penalty. Now, I'm not sure how much of a penalty this is, but because we have air superiority, I think there's like a negative 20%, you know, difference between those that have it and those that do not. Okay, still building up our factories, or at least trying to, and then obviously we're then going to be working on our infantry equipment. Looks like we are meeting some success, but having issues at the same time. Why are we not moving in? I don't know. Can you go here? You go there. You go there. And we have resistance to occupation. I actually wasn't really expecting that. Do we have any type of military police? I don't know. I know we were creating some, but we... Wow. Oh, yes we do. I forgot that I obviously did all of this because it was absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and finally deploy our last units of, you know, divisions here. You get put into a new group. You come down here. And the idea is to garrison all of these areas across Canada and try to secure as many factories as we can get our hands on. It says we need 6. We obviously have 10. Let's secure these areas as well, and there's no way that we're going to get all of these. So we obviously should be improving our military police if we can. We finally have 500 army experience, but I don't know what to really improve. We could improve our light tanks. These are heavy tanks. We are nowhere near modern tanks. It's probably going to be about a year. Our jet tactical fighters will come soon enough. Let's actually get our... Not our tactical bombers, but let's get our jet fighters first. They are going to require a lot of aluminum, but I think less aluminum. Yes, substantially less aluminum. Almost half of what we were previously purchasing. Now, basically, this has a range of 1,200. Same range. What is the air attack is obviously substantially better. Defense is better. Agility is less. And the production cost is more. They obviously have a lot more speed as well. I'm wondering, is speed important? Not really. Agility is what's important, but I guess speed really isn't. All of our fighters are doing a phenomenal job, and you know what? I probably should have gotten jet tactical bombers sooner rather than later. We have a massive, massive surplus of motorized equipment, though it says we're losing trucks. We had about 900, now we have 13,000, so I'm wondering if we really need this many. We obviously need motorized artillery. Could we switch over one of these trucks to motorized artillery? I have no idea if this is going to stay up all the way or go down. Yep, go down substantially. But the idea is now that we are going to have a lot more soft attack, or at least hopefully. We are still lacking, we're losing about 40 a day, now losing about 26. And obviously still losing more light tanks than we can produce. If we could somehow take Saskatchewan, I would obviously just build up my infrastructure inside these areas, but it looks like we're having some issues. So I think what I'll do is let's actually go for a balanced attack once again, and better yet, let's stop executing all of our plans. I am going to create an offensive line, but I don't plan on obviously going through with it just yet, if I don't need to. Okay, now the entire goal is obviously to build up preparation, obviously to wait and get some additional light tanks. We obviously need more motorized, but as time goes on, the more and more we can produce, the better off we will be. Canada is probably going to capitulate as soon as I take their capital. And I suppose, without further ado, I think I am going to have to go ahead and end this episode here, even though we have stopped moving. For some reason, we did just actually... because we stopped our plan, we have a balanced manner, and it hasn't been activated. I guess we were still moving, because we just took this province, Idaho. Can I build more inside Idaho? Not yet. But obviously, every single month that goes by, more factories are being produced, better industry, and it looks like we now have a... Did we ever... Are you serious? I could have swore... Did I really... Oh, man. Instead of building a naval base, I built a naval dock. No, it says level 7. But why did it say level 5? I did do the right thing. That was odd. And it looks like we are now out of manpower. Yeah, at level 7 naval base. Do all of my units have full supply? Not really. How long can I, until I can activate? About 35 more days. So I guess I am going to go ahead and end this episode here. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hope you all have an awesome day. And I will see you in the invasion of San Diego.